All right, welcome back to another One Piece review. And I said I was gonna try to review this weekly, but I missed a couple weeks. But honestly, I'm gonna try to get back on it and be more consistent. Um, but yeah, so the chapter we're reviewing today is chapter 985, titled "The New Onigashima Plan." So first off, we do not have a Beej Oh My Family cover story, which is a goddamn blessing. I That story's getting so old now. Like I really want to get to the end of it and just move on to another cover story or whatever. But we have One Piece on the cover of Shonen Jump, and I think it's a 23 for like 23 years of One Piece, I believe. Dang, already? Golly. All right, we have a full color cover page with Law, Kid, and Luffy, and they look like to be on giant parrots and feeding little parrots rice balls, I guess. And of course, Kid and Luffy are competitive, so they're having a little, you know, scuffle, you'd call that, I guess. And yeah, that's it. All right, so the chapter starts off right about where we left off. The last chapter where the scabbards, including Izo, were teleported to the back entrance of the palace, and Kanjuro was waiting for them there. And as he says, he knew, like, even though they didn't see the ships, because they burn down the ships or sink them because they have no plans of returning, and they also don't want to make a scene. And it's supposed to be a surprise attack, but Conjuro being around it for so long, he's like, "There's no way you guys wouldn't have attacked based on how I left you guys. You guys would still try to make the trip." So knowing them, he just stayed in the back and he found them and he brought his guys and goons. And of course, the scabbards are surprised that he's there. Um, and another thing is Izo is surprised that Conjuro can draw, because from what we understand, he hasn't seen Conjuro in like over 20 years. He hasn't been back since. So he's surprised that Conjuro can draw, because as we know, Conjuro is not an artist by any stretch of the imagination from what we were told before. But now we know he was just acting and he was faking it. Something interesting though to note is that Conjuro's art, like the two things, because at first I wasn't able to tell if everybody there was somebody that he drew. But it seems like the only things that he drew were the two um headless knights. Because we have some people in the crowd that are like, oh wow, I remember them from 20 years ago during the execution. So that shows you that those people have been around since then, and so these are real people and not drawings. But another thing about the headless knights is that, or samurais, like they're headless and they're still alive. I believe that Controls, a lot of his artwork had to be very, I guess, meet the criteria of being alive to stay alive. For example, remember how he drew the little dragon, and just because he drew it so improperly, it was in pain because its body couldn't maintain that form. Same thing with the bird. It was painful to fly and stuff like that because the wings were all weird. It was just not a good formation. But these are headless samurai, but they're still alive and they're ready to fight. I don't I don't know if, like, it was a lie before and his art could have sustained no matter how it was, or now he's just such a good artist that he could bypass that, or is part of his ability. We don't know, but he makes a joke saying that the headless knights represent the scabbards, because they're going to be headless soon. Well, we'll see. Of course, the scabbards are going to ask for Momonosuke, and when they ask for him, Kanjuro basically said, "Don't worry, he's gonna be meeting the same fate as you guys, and he's gonna get executed and whatever." Something interesting I saw about Kanjuro, given his personality, is that he basically we found out that Momonosuke, we knew this already, but he's telling them that Momonosuke tried to run away, and he tried to grab him, and Momonosuke cut him, stab him. We see his hand; it's a very small cut, and Kanjuro goes off on Momonosuke and damn near almost kills him. Um, to the point where it seems like he didn't care if he killed him. He's surprised that Momonosuke even survived. He's like, I guess it's the blood of his father that made him survive that. But Odin, Odin's blood. It's surprising given the fact that he was able to act for all those years and pretend to be on their side, for him to lose his temper that easily and to go that crazy, given the fact that we know he's a great actor and he knows how to hide his emotions and his composure. I don't know, that seems a little off character for him, or maybe we'll find out some more information about him to why he acted that way. Because he seemed like somebody who's cool under pressure. Because if he was able to, die and stay in that boiling pot with Odin with no problem, it's hard to believe that little cut would make him go ape shit. But we'll see. Of course, Kiku is very distressed by this, and of course she would be. So we have Dog asking the cat about his arm, which I think all of us were asking, were wondering about. But he has a little Gallic gun in his arm, and that's funny. But I like to say, like, even though they're about to start a fight, they look very calm. Like, I don't think they're too worried about Conjuro. I think they could, like, yeah, we could handle Conjuro. Even his little Goonies, I don't think they're too worried about it. So that's a good sign. Kiku puts on her helmet, and she gets ready to battle on Conjuro. But the funny thing is that she says that her cuts last until the light until like even into the afterlife. You will still feel the pain of the cut, and I'm like, bruh, how you know they dead? Even if what you're saying is true, like, it's pretty bold to say, like, yo, my cuts last until, like, bitch, you don't know. How the fuck you know they dead? But yeah, that's kind of interesting. I guess that's the lingering snow epithet that she has to do with, like, the pain of her cuts, like, kind of lasts forever or a very long time. Um, must be one of her cutting styles or her sword play styles. Okay, well, that's cool, I guess. All right, so Kiku charges at Conjuro, and Conjuro seems ready for her, no problem. Everybody else attacks too. And then we find out that Dog has because he lost his leg, so he replaced it with a sword, and he calls that his two sword style. Clever, cool. I expected that when I saw the Gallic gun on Cat's arm. I assumed that Dog would have tried to do something with his leg, but we see what it is. And Kiku confirmed to have Haki. I think everybody at this point, this late in the story, I feel like most people who are fighting has base conqueror, not conqueror, but ornament and observation Haki. Like, I think it's safe to assume that those are two things that at this level, this late in the game, almost everybody has um that that kind of Haki. And we move on to basically the fight starts and it ends, like, it doesn't end, but we skip on to a different scene, and we see that just like Odin, Yamato really wanted to leave the island, even like he says with Ace. And we find out that we also find out Yamato's age. She is she I'm gonna call her she because she's cosplaying as Odin. She doesn't identify as a boy, but she is 28 years old. So yeah, 28 years old. Um, she asked Luffy to join the crew. I think a lot of us want her to join. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know. She a little baddie. I wouldn't mind seeing her leave. And one thing I'm noticing, her horns are real. I don't know if, we established that, but Kaido's horns are real as well, I think. But like looking at her, Kaido, I don't think we ever. I didn't know if it had to do anything to do with his fruit or if it's just that's how he is. Because a lot of the people in his crew wear fake horns and stuff like that. But it seems like these are real horns, so they're not normal humans. So we've established that they're not everyday humans. It's not a devil fruit that's giving them horns, but they are in fact of a different race at least. I think Kaido having a child um makes it hard to believe that he isn't a like a human, like some kind of human, because a lot of people remember there were theories that he was an object that ate a devil fruit, that the human devil fruit, and I'm like, I don't know, the Oni devil fruit, I don't know, I think he's a some kind of a subhuman, not subhuman, but yeah, part of the human race, but maybe an ancient giant. Who knows? Maybe that's what he is. But we find out that yeah, Yamato wants to leave, and but she can't leave, because she has these bracelets on her, the handcuffs on her. At first, we thought they were just the part of the cosplay of Odin, because if we remember, they all had chains on them when they ran away from Odin. Maybe she remembered that, and she wanted that to be part of her Odin cosplay. And but we find out they're the same thing that Luffy had around his his neck when he was in Oden prison, and they would explode if she leaves. And then I start thinking, I'm like, well, if you're really trying to inspire to be Odin, that's not very Odin like. Because she said the reason she hasn't left is that it would explode if she leaves. Honestly, from what we know about Odin and seen about Odin, that would have stopped him from leaving the country. He would have left by any means possible. And the thing is, she doesn't know if it is real or not. But that's what her father said, is that they would explode if she left the country. So she has no proof, and she never even attempted it. And if she really wanted freedom as bad as Odin wanted freedom, like leaving and attempting it wouldn't be a problem. And second off, we could tell that she doesn't have Rio, like she doesn't have that high level of hockey yet, at least, because I don't see why she couldn't remove them by herself, because we see even Luffy offers to remove it for her. And surprisingly, I don't know if we confirmed that Luffy, like, mastered Rio and, like, that confident, because he seemed real confident asking, yeah, you want me to remove him for, Biggie, like, I could take them off. And it's like we saw him like punch the tree, and it, like, when they were training right before the invasion. So I guess this confirms that Luffy knows Rio really well, confident enough to where he could do it, because he was very hesitant with old man Hio, and removing his chain around his neck. He's like, yo, I don't think I could do this. But this time he seemed like, yeah, I could do it, but how can I trust that you're gonna fight on her sides? And Luffy, to be honest, I don't know if it really matters if she's fighting on your side or not. Even if you removed it, doesn't mean she would fight or fight against you. What does the handcuffs have to do with anything? From what we could tell, it would only explode if she leaves the country. That doesn't impose on you at all. Um, but we find out that Kaido was beating up Yamato. Like, that's just a thing that he did, I guess. As a kid, anytime he opposed her. And another thing, since I didn't do the other reviews of One Piece, is that I like to say that Kaido is quite complex. Even though Yamato is a girl, he refers to her as a he. Um, I'd like to think it's because he's respecting her wishes of saying, I want to be referred to as a he. So I'm your son. So Kaido's like, you know what? I will refer to you as a he. And Yamato always wears a mask. So I don't know if it's common knowledge that Yamato is a female, cosplaying as Odin. And yeah, so we don't know if everybody knows she's a female, but I would assume that most people would, his close circle, is referring to him as a female. Because at first I would think, like, maybe Kaido wanted a son, and he has a daughter, so he's upset, so he's just treating her as a son. But it seems like no, it's due to Yamato's wishes that she's being called his son. So that's very interesting. I like that. So next up, we have Kaido going into the loudspeaker or video, whatever you call it, and it was just giving an announcement of his plan, because that's what he wanted to say. Give last chapter he was talking about the Onigashima initiative, and he starts off by saying that the world government has abolished the Shichibukai, and that they must be very confident in their new power. I don't think the warlord or the rest of the world knows what the new power is, and we know as the readers the SSG. So I agree with Kaido. The world government must be very confident about the SSG to abolish the warlords against their fight against the emperors. So that's very interesting there. Um, and he says that his new goal is to acquire the ancient weapons. So I don't know. The Poseidon's looking a little in threat there, because last time we saw Im-sama was looking at her picture. What's her name? Shirahoshi. It looks like a lot of people have eyes on her now, and she's gonna be a major threat soon. Not a she's going to be in major threat soon. So we know there's three major weapons. We have Pluton. Pluton is basically a warship, and we know that the blueprints for it were burnt by Frankie a while back. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I think from what we understood it that it was already built, and Pluton was like the blueprints are just if you ever needed to build another one to counter the first one or something like that. So I think Pluton is out there, and Uranus is it's nowhere to be found. Nobody knows anything about it. Like us, the readers, don't even know anything about it, as far as I know, as far as I remember. So okay, so the ancient weapons are going to come back into the story. Then we see Big Mom pops up in all her Big Mom glory. All the homies are out there, and we see Nami and Carrot basically like beat up a little bit. They're beat up a little bit, and we have Robin and Jinbei notice that and stuff. So I can't tell in the chapter where they are exactly, but they're close to Big Mom, of course. But I just don't know where they are, because the panel we see them is a very small panel, so we don't get to see how close they are to Big Mom or anything like that. Zeus is knocked out, which it's very weird to me with Zeus. I don't understand why Zeus, like Nami, was ever able to take control of Zeus. It's Big Mom's soul. It should be loyal to Big Mom 100%, no matter what it is. If Big Mom calls upon him, he should come to Big Mom. It doesn't, like, I don't see why Big Mom would have to knock him out or like take him out of commission. But at the same time, it is Big Mom's soul. Maybe the appetite thing, because we know the way that Nami seduced Zeus was over, like, lightning charges and stuff. So maybe the same way food could entice Big Mom, things that are created by her soul are have the same issues that she has, and maybe that's why you could make Zeus betray her so easily with food. So Kaido starts nagging Big Mom about her being late, but they quickly like brush over there. She's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. Her main goal is to get the One Piece." So we know Luffy hears somebody's going for the One Piece. Hey, that's Luffy. He's gonna Luffy it up like, the fuck? You said One Piece? That's all me, baby. And Orochi is he's surprised about that, and it's kind of weird, like looking back, that Orochi didn't know any of this. It makes sense later on, but at first I was like, why didn't you expect this, Orochi? Like, it already sees like you. Oh, he doesn't tell you everything that he plans. All right, cool. So and he asked the people that are working for Orochi, you guys have to decide who you're going to work for. And I'm like, interesting. So his plan is he wants to increase the factory output in the country and create an island basically like Blackbeard's. Like like a pirate paradise, basically. Like Bumblebee Island, I think it's called. Honeycomb Island, whatever his island is fucking called. I don't know. But yeah, he wants to create an island that's like that. And I'm like, without law, without orders, like I don't. Does that ever work? In it ever where some places lawless? Like, is it ever a good thing? Um, but okay. Whatever. He wants to increase the factory output to creating weapons, and I don't know if it's to sell weapons or to use himself. Um, and there's the big reveal. Orochi was like, "Hey, what are you talking about? The flower capital is mine." And before he could finish what he's saying, Kaido lops the motherfucker head off. Oh man, that was clean. That really shocked me there, cause we all in the community are thinking about how Orochi was gonna die, who's going to kill Orochi, what's gonna happen. But it seems like Kaido was fed up with Orochi. But it's been like over 20 years that they're working together. For him to just chop his head off like that is surprising. But I don't think Orochi's dead, honestly, because he has the devil fruit he has sports a lot of heads. I like to think that you have to kill Orochi multiple times. At least the head cutting part. I feel like you need to at least cut his head. How many heads Orochi has? I think 8 or something like that. I'd like to think that. Um, if he did get his head chopped off and that is the end of Orochi, I would be highly, very surprised of Oda to do that because that is a curveball and a half. You wouldn't have expected him to kill like a major antagonist in that sense. It gives me Game of Thrones vibes, like where you expect somebody to be the end game type of villain, and then you find out they just, you know, died right then and there. That would be cool, but I don't think Orochi is, out. I think he's gonna make a comeback, but if he does make a comeback, like, does he join team team Luffy? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he dies again. Either way, I think he's dying by the end of this arc. And maybe Oda killed if he did die, I think Oda killed him because he didn't want the heroes to kill him because of like, his history with his family being persecuted by the by Odin's family line and stuff like that. Maybe Oda wanted an out so that way it doesn't seem like it's cycle repeating himself. Cause it'll be hard not to kill him, but it'll be very the message wouldn't be great if they killed him too. So it's like so maybe this is a way that Oda just found an easy way out without having to deal with Orochi and the ramifications that would come with it with a if one of Odin's scabbards killed him. So everybody's shocked that Kaido chopped his head off. Everybody except for Big Mom. Big Mom is having laughing at her ass off. But we see his head chopped off clean. It's hard to think that he didn't die from there. And he basically gives his minions 5 seconds to choose who they're fighting for. So obviously we know everybody's going to just go on Kaido's side. So all of the samurai of Wano and all the sons of Wano just became like basically beast pirates. And Kaido still wants to continue with the execution of Momo, which is very interesting. So Luffy sees Momo and basically that's it. That's it. He's going to go after Momo and fuck the plan at that point, knowing that Momo could die any minute there, any second there, basically. And we find out that he wants to move Onigashima to the flower capital. We don't know if he's moving the physical Onigashima to the flower capital, which I don't think that's what it is, but I think he's gonna move his headquarters there, basically to the flower capital, is what he's implying, and Onigashima will become the new capital of the new country that he's creating, because now he wants to change the name of the country to New Onigashima, and so current Onigashima is going to be like the capital of it, I guess. I I'm not sure. I think that's what's he's implying. So basically, he's creating a empire for pirates. The pirate empire is what he wants to create, and he's just preparing himself for basically the final war. Oda's been teasing this final war for the longest, so can't wait to see what happens there. So we move over and we see that Kiku's blade is bleeding or it's cut or whatever the case may be. Um, and she's sobbing and crying. And due to that fact, I think that Danjiro might have done some dirty trick with art and stuff like that and made her kill somebody accidentally, or I'm not sure. Or she could have just killed Danjiro. I don't think so, but we'll see. It could be that. Um, so Kaido names Yamato the new shogun of the new Onigashima. So he's like the new shogun, but Kaido would still be the emperor or the. I don't understand why he's not the shogun. I don't know why he's naming his son the shogun versus just be like, "Yo, I'm the big honcho of the country." So you, Luffy and Yamato both like leap into action because neither one of them are like happy about the outcomes. Yamato doesn't want to be shogun, doesn't want anything to do with her dad anyway, and Luffy is just trying to go save, go save Momo. So basically, what we have here is that they're spotted, and the Flying Six are called on them. Given the fact that they're running straight to the platform um where Kaido is, I don't I don't think they're gonna make it because Luffy and Yamato cannot beat Kaido and Big Mom. There's no way in hell that fight is going to go their way. So I think there's going to be interruptions to where that stops them from going there until they get a plan going. So yeah, I think that we might be seeing a Flying Six fight coming up soon with Yamato and Luffy, and then from there, I guess we'll find out if people already knew Yamato was a female or not. And it seems like she removed her mask and she went running without the mask or anything like that. So she didn't seem she didn't seem surprised. And actually, wait. Now that I think about it, they said Master Yamato is here towards the end, and she wasn't wearing a mask. She wasn't like even wearing the same outfit she was wearing. So it seems like everybody might have known that Yamato is a female. It seemed, at least that's how it seems to me. So I'm gonna rate this chapter. This chapter was amazing. It was really good. It kept things moving. Um, you know, Orochi getting his head lobbed off is a shocker to everybody. But I would rate this chapter a solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It's really really good. I really enjoyed it. And all right, we'll see what happens next, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.